life as 2SRL. Season 8 is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic weekend of Formula One racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Bats. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. A full grid lined up some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. There we go. Once all the cars are all lining up on the grid, they're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is they going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? Let's take out and away we go! DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone, because I have a feeling... Oh no, Timo, cancel the crusher in the crusher zone! The Price Commander, another overtake on 23 trademark. This is round 3.
Our oh, it's not. Oh no! Oh my god! This so sorry. Control myself. So Timo.
So what we gotta do so they can start at the back together again, just like Timo likes it.
How many times? Did you see how many times Timo tried to get into the pit?
Welcome everybody, it's Sunday, it's Interlagos, and it's the Brazilian Grand Prix, and there are many, many reasons to smile as this is the absolute last round of this 2021 S2S Racing League Tier 1, and also a little bit of a mix of Tier 2. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's Interlagos, and as you can see, things are definitely spicing up in this championship at the moment because Danny Coe leads by just 19 points, and Kopi is hot on his heels right behind. So obviously at this point, a win from Kopi, depending on where the positions will be, obviously from Danny Coe, can definitely spice things up. It's always going to come down to the wire. It has before in the past in many Formula One races in real life. And let's see how it goes in the virtual world this evening. I am the Biggles. G'day. And obviously joining me in the commentary box, I think for the first time we've worked together, it's Vito. G'day.
Yes, good evening from the commentary box. And yeah, we'll have a very exciting race today. It looks like it's dry in qualifying. Not sure what it's gonna be in the race. Let me just pull up the chat on my phone.
Oh, I got it, if you like. I already can tell you from my telemetry. It will be a dry race as well.
Dry race as well, alright. So it won't be rain, which is quite common in here in Brazil, that the rain comes in throughout the whole race, or maybe towards the end. But if it's gonna be dry, it's definitely gonna be a bit closer between all the drivers, I think.
Yeah, check out. You might want to ask that to the Red Bull driver of Justin, because he's got the Inters on there expecting it to rain. But I think, Justin, you might be a little bit too eager on that one, mate. It's 45 minutes of sunshine for qualifying, but you don't have to worry about that because there's only 15 minutes of qualifying to go. Dragon's even gone with the whole full wets. I'll tell you one thing. At least the blue type Stry does suit the blue Red Bull, doesn't it?
It does. It's no, Justin was doing a little bit of donuts, just getting the last race vibe in. Although he is lagging a bit from here, that might be me. It's a little bit of rubber banding there. The stream does appear to be lagging, I think.
The stream does appear to be lagging a little bit to me, but I just thought that might be my internet as well, as I'm literally in the jungle, practically. Not as much jungle as Interlagos, but on and off. Anybody in the YouTube world at that chat? I've got it all up there, so let me know if there's any issues. The audio or anything like that, we'll try to get that resolved up as quickly as possible. We want to bring you the last race of the season as best of our ability. As Jay at the moment in the Mercedes is lighting up the timing boards with the purple, so he's ready to put down a nice banker lap as he's currently going through turn 9. It's near the little palm tree that's basically just off the side of the track. That's what it's actually called. It's going to be going down to 11, sweeping downhill into Jonko right here at turn 12. And that is the junction where the old track and the new track, climbing all the way up the hill. Get that mighty DRS open, no doubt soon, and then hug that pit wall as close as you can. Get the shortest line across there. It should be right there. That will be a provisional pole. Takes it away from Mr. Chen as well. Chenjay, I believe that is. But Chenjay did set that on the medium, so 51 thousandths of a second. It's lower.
So what would be the strategy around here? I would assume it would be a soft medium or a medium soft. I don't think we will see the hard tire compound today. Unless we will have an early safety car. But I would think the most other drivers would go for a soft medium.
Yeah, exactly. All medium soft if you can get those mediums up pace-wise. And that's a pretty damn good pace, I'd have to say, from Jonathan Chen. I think that's got to be Chenjay for sure, if I'm not just getting mistaken.
Yes, it is Chenjay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a pretty competitive time. We'd be happy with that. The times will obviously start tumbling down. I haven't seen anybody crack into the 106s. That's very much possible with the likes of Danny Coe and some idiot out there as well, obviously, as our Kopi. running second in championship. These men are very capable of that.
Yes,
The
so
gladiators, I should say. My apologies. They're not just men; they're gladiators.
the main battle today is, of course, again between Danico and Copy, with a gap of 19 points. So Danico has a big chance of claiming the championship here in the last race. And to do that, he has to get 7th or higher, with Copy winning the race to keep the championship. And if Copy wins and Danico is 8th or lower, then Copy will claim the title of the 2SRL Tier 1 championship.
Exactly. That could. Is it going to come back to a situation where Lewis Hamilton won his first championship? You know, that was obviously changeable conditions at the end, but you know, is that Glock, that famous saying? You know, that one position change. It definitely could come down to it, couldn't it? We have a lot of drivers out there, a lot of drivers that are capable of winning the race, a lot of drivers that are capable of scoring some good points and spoiling the surprise for perhaps Danico. So Danico can't just run away with this one. Obviously, he wants to get that car in the best possible position, at least in the front row of the grid. First or second really are about equal. Even Stevens has that run down to the first turn through the center S's is, you know, anybody's game. And pole position doesn't have this huge advantage that it does have on other tracks. So, but you do definitely want to be on that front row.
And Copy is now in Sector 2. Let's see if he can get pole, because he does have the pace for sure. And I think it's going to be a big shootout for pole, that it's going to be very close, at least between the top 5. I would expect it to be very close at least.
I think Justin is a little bit quicker than him at the moment. Justin's got purple first, but he's right on the money, Copy, right on it. I think Chenjay's just gone even quicker. And Chenjay's actually invalidated, so here we go. It's up to Copy now, climbing up the hill. He wants to make sure you get that car on the front row, at least up there. He's going to be pretty close. He's got to P2 position at the moment, provisional. That'll be okay. So take that one. The other drivers that were going quicker invalidated their laps. That's the thing too as well. They're pushing like mad. Copy handling the pressure at the moment, putting his first lap in. And a very quick one at that, 106.8.
It is a very quick time indeed, but I think we might go into the low 106s towards the end. I wonder if the most of the drivers are gonna be able to improve as that band gets squilly on the exit, touches a bit of the grass. He did touch the barrier a little bit, but it looks like he's fine. That was very, very scary, as he could have DNF'd right there, but thankfully he kept his car alive.
Owen just slots himself up into P3 in the Haas. So he's about half a second off the pace there currently from Justin, that racer's provisional pole. I think at the moment too, the pressure was felt there because Danico was out in a flying lap, but he's invalidated. So he's going to get in there and get some fresh boots on this evening. That's the only problem. I mean, I think that's the good thing about Copy, isn't it? He's kind of have that little bit of sigh of relief going. That first lap that he got in there was a good time. It's a comfortable time. It's not something that, you know, he's going to be happy with. He knows he could find some more time, but obviously it's easy to invalidate, and at least he's got something on the board. Puts a little bit more pressure, I have to say, on the Ferrari driver Danico now, because Danico has to get a flying lap in, a banker lap in, and then try to push right towards the end once the track's rub it in for the ultimate lap of laps, of course, to put that car on pole.
Exactly. Now, a lot of the drivers are now starting to go on another lap. For example, Rafondas, who I believe is starting his lap. No, that's some idiot. But some idiot is on old tires, so I don't think he is really gonna qualify, as he is doing 4 laps on softs now. Which is quite uncommon for a normal quali run, so I think he is just practicing race pace, trying to start from the back, enjoy the race a little bit. And Rafondas, his teammate, is now going up the hill and about to start his lap, flying down towards the Senna S of turn 1, 2, 3. Locking up the left front quite a bit, but still keeps some minimum speed going to the straight, opening the DRS, very long straight. This is one of the bigger overtaking opportunities here. Does hit the apex, looks up again a bit, goes out wide and invalidates his lap. That's also a very difficult corner. A lot of drivers invalidate their laps there, on the outside. Just
Yeah,
taking a little bit too much speed.
Casino de Lago. That's basically the lake at the bottom of the hill. That's what that means in Portuguese. I have some information for those corners too as well. At the moment, we can look at... I was going to say Owen's going to get quicker. Yeah, a lot of invalidations. I think somebody obviously is a super quick driver. Ime Rowe will be looking for a last to first run. He has done that before in the past. I've seen it in other leagues. He's going to be having some fun out there. But the two drivers aren't going to be having fun, obviously, Danico and Kopi, because they want to win this championship. They want that trophy. Kopi, it looks like, might be getting ready to start. Yes, a hot lap. So if you don't go on board with the Williams driver, as he's going to be climbing up the hill, let's get a little bit of pressure on the Williams, but let's see if he can improve on his time as he slipped down to P3 now. 2/10. He wants to gain it now. On the power, climbing down through the center S's. Turns one, sweeping it to the left, and get a good exit to the right, cut across the chicane, not too much, and then exit out here on Curve at the Sol. Big long curve. That's the curve that's into the sun. It used to be on the opposite track. Down the Reto opposite, that's what it is, because this track used to be anti-clockwise. Sorry, clockwise, not anti-clockwise. Climbing down through the Casino de Lago. Getting wide, not too wide. 16.4 first sector. That's pretty good. Not his best. Sorry, his personal best, but it's not. Fedadura, I think, turn 6, climbing up the hill. Getting a heavy braking through this tricky section here right now. Mickey Mouse in and out. Turns 8, turn 9, climbing up the hill. On the power, and this is another one where you're going to get right out wide, hit the brakes, cut the apex, not too much, and get on the power, climbing down to Jonko. Just flat out. Take it wide as much as you can, and then get on the power early. Not too much of an overspeed. Up 6th gear, 7th gear. Just keep going through those gears as quickly as possible. Burn everything you can. You can see there's plenty of energy. Middle sector's not so great. He's got a box.
He abandons his lap, but when we were not looking, Justin set another fastest lap of 106.540, so he's currently on provisional pole in front of Chenjay. And
Fantastic, yeah.
we have some idiot actually going out on medium tires, so he might look for a qualification time on the mediums, and someone has spun. I think that's Owen who spun in sector 2. Yes, he is on the grass.
Yeah, he might affect some of those drivers. Well, guess what? Danico's out on mediums. So this is interesting. He's on a flying lap too. He's 16.6 first sector. That's about 3/10 off. And there, at the moment, some of those cars getting out of the way. I'm not quite sure if they did compromise his racing line for the Ferrari, but he's trying to use interesting strategy to see why he's going to be trying to do this. I think certainly not going to be a front row. 34.0 middle sector. That's about 2/10 down. So about half a second down. Probably not too bad if he can get around P7, I'd say, on the mediums. A different strategy might very well work. Let's have a look across the line. P6, so it's close. Yeah, that's a pretty good time. That's just over half a second slower than provisional pole, but that is on the mediums, and that's definitely an absolutely fantastic time.
So it might be a viable strategy for Danico, as we're on board with some idiot who's also on his medium lap. It might be a very viable strategy for Danico, because of course he does have quite some room to play with in terms of championship points, where he can afford to finish outside the top 5, for example, in P6, and still claim the championship. So it is a very good chance that he will gain some positions with the reverse strategy, if he will be able to stay in the DRS train that will form during the race.
Exactly. Keep the temperature up in those tyres too, which should be quite good. It's going to be a nice sunny start to the race. Maybe a little overcast later on. The track temperature should be good. I think at the moment somebody it's absolutely blistering on this time. He's got a very, very impressive middle sector. I think this is going to be even quicker than Danico on medium, so it might push Danny back down. This could be he could actually get Koopy here, I'd say, somebody on the mediums. Oh, just behind. So there it is, P5. That was an impressive time. That is 0.3 of a second slower than those medium tires. Imagine what pace somebody could do if he was on those softs.
No, I knew some idiot is a very quick driver, but this is a very, very good time on the medium tires. And I don't think the mediums have a huge gap to the softs, but still, the gap is there. And him showing that he can be only 0.3 of pole on a different tire compound is very impressive.
That is absolutely brilliant. I'm surprised he didn't get that out there and do like a 1 second to from the inters, considering the pace he has. So that's that's interesting. That gives, as it looks like the Renault driver has decided, I can't beat these times anymore, I'm quite sure. Nico and Tipsy Bob also deciding that that'll be enough for the qualifying. So somebody I think is going to have to sit on that one. Danico is back out. Is Danny going to try and improve again on his time? He is. He's trying. He is actually improving a little bit better. He's going to commit to these mediums, and why not? You can do 2 laps on him. He's got a personal best first and second sector. He's looking to try to bring it to some idiot's pace this evening. Perhaps go a little bit quicker on these mediums. Let's see if he's going to hug that wall. He certainly might improve to P6. He got it. He got the P6. So second fastest of the medium tyres, and that's 4/10 off the soft. So that's a fantastic lap too from Danny Coke. He's going to bring it. Could be a great strategy.
So Chenje was out on his hot lap, but he invalidated this lap again, which is suboptimal, as the boys over at McLaren F1 would say it. Not what you want to do in the qualifying session is validate your lap. I wonder if he will continue or if he will dive into the pits. It looks like he's going into the pits. No, it's continuing, so he will go for another lap. But he doesn't have much ERS. Nope, he does abandon. So now the Mercedes driver of Jay Vrage, who is going down to turn 1, is going to start his hot lap. Currently in P3 with a 1:07 dead.
So Koopy set the fastest middle sector. His first sector was okay, a little bit about 1/10 off, but the middle sector is blistering. Let's see if his third sector can cook it up. Let's see if he can take it to Chenje. Let's take it to provisional pole. Kenny, cross the line, P2, second row. He says, I'll take that one. Thank you very much. That was a brilliant 47 thousandths of a second just off the Red Bull's pace. Let's see if Chenje can do anything about it. He can't. Chenje's first sector is too slow. So I think that's very much it. He's backed off. Nobody else is improving. Well, a little bit further back, I'd have to say Owen may very well be improving on his time, but he's not lighting up purples. So I think Kopi is definitely safe here.
Don't forget that Jay in the Mercedes is still on a hot lap. I don't know if he's improving. He's coming to the sector 2 time split now. And he is not up and not down on his time. He's only 24 thousandths down.
He does have a purple, my apologies. He has a purple middle sector. His first sector is about 2/10 off. But currently, 2/10 is not going to be enough. He's going to hook up the third sector. Can he steal this one away from Koopy, actually? No, he won't. But he'll get that P3. He'll get the first to the second row. That's fantastic for the Mercedes.
And I think that's it. I think that's everyone done in the qualifying session. So Justin taking pole position with a 106.5 on the soft tires. Then we have Koppie in P2, the championship contender, of course, with 106.5 as well. P3 goes to the Mercedes driver of J. P4 to Chenje in the AlphaTauri, and P5 to some idiot on the medium tires. Then we have Wazook in P6 on the softs, and Danico, the other championship contender, in P7 on the mediums. P8 goes to Sanix in the Renault, P9 to Owen, P10 to Fox, the teammate of Koppie. P11 is that band's, P12 I believe was Nico, and P13 was Tipsy Bob. And we'll have a look further in a second, because I couldn't really read it further. P14 is Rafondes, and then Timo, who is in P15 with a 5-place grid penalty, surprisingly enough. He is in P15, and P16 goes to Dragon in the Red Bull, who didn't set a qualifying time either.
So 1 second separating from P1 to P10. That's including a couple of medium tyre runners in the middle there. And if you got to look at a blistering pace set, you got basically less than half a second separates the top 7 drivers. In fact, 0.4 of a second separate the top 7 drivers. That's how spicy close it will be here in the last one. As Cody says, sorry, Tipsy Bob says that there. Cody and Chen are gods. His best was 7.4. No point continuing qualifying for him. That was Tipsy Bob. And Justin's well for you. My race pace is shambles, but let's see if I can end up top 5. So that's from Justin out there. So yeah, it's definitely on. That's Justin, who obviously, congratulations on your pole lap 2 of a 106.5, 47 thousandths of a second. Just quicker than Mr. Kopi running second. Running second in championship. As the drivers are getting ready, the nerves start pumping up through those veins now, isn't it? Because being the last race, there's a lot on the line between both Danny and Kopi. That championship trophy is all shined up and waiting for him. That's the Drivers' Championship trophy that's sitting up on the podium, waiting for one of those drivers this evening. Perhaps if they even may get it to the podium, but it's certainly sitting down the track side. Unpack's sitting next to us, isn't the commentary box. We'll keep it nice and shined up for him. Ready to hand it over here in Interlagos, 4.3 kilometre circuit, 15 corners, 10 to your left, 5 to the right, 2 DRS zones, overtaking chances into that turn 1. Turn 4 and 5, Casino del Lago as well. Twists and turns to that infield and can be very tricky. Let's see if anybody can let's produce what happened. Juan Carlos Pace, who won back here in 1975 with my Aussie team Brabham. And there's also a wonderful statue of him that we pass every single day at the front of the track. So look out for those turn 1 and the center S's. Always proven to be a good battleground for the boldest of drivers that they have to offer. Well, Vito, this is it for the last time this season. These drivers are going to have to see what they can deliver on this wonderful racetrack. As I said, it's a anti-clockwise racetrack, but it's also used to be clockwise. And that's one of the reasons why they call it Curva de Sol and Reto Opposto, because if you imagine doing this track backwards, so if you were to do this track clockwise, they used to climb up the hill from the Curva de Sol and then through the center S's. But probably what used to happen was the sun in the afternoon used to hit the drivers right in the face and they couldn't see anything. So they decided to switch the track around and make it opposite. And that's why those corners are called like that, as the driver's going to get ready, get the temperature in those tires. More important, isn't it, for the medium tire runners of some idiot, Danny Coe, and obviously a few of those drivers at the back there to get the temperature in those tires. Going to be looking out to see if that Renault could try to bring it to Danny off the bat early. And obviously was UK, or is in the mix of the 2 medium runners as well. Look out for Copy trying to make a run on Justin into turn 1. That's a usual suspect there. He's got the inside line. It is mighty powerful here as the racing line where the Red Bull is. Would you like to do the race start for it?
And we have 5 lights, and away we go with, it looks like Copy having a pretty good start, but not compared to Justin. Justin has a very good start. Jay has a very good start. He's already side by side with Copy and already passed into turn 4, I think it is, turn 3 or turn 4. So Copy dropped down to P3 and Danny Coe dropped down to P10. So we have a lot of position changes. Actually, that might be the HUD being a little bit wonky.
Yeah, telemetry glitch usually. Yep.
Yeah, Jay is in P2, Copy in P3, and Danny Coe is in P7 currently. So this is interesting. Let's see how Danny Coe is going to be able to get through this traffic, or keep with the traffic, I should say, for quite a few laps until the softs have to box. This track
interesting. You get held up as well. So yeah, obviously, very good day from Jay getting up there past Copy. So Copy's just losing one position, but Copy's playing it safe as well. He doesn't want to be taken out or losing some key positions off the bat there. Some idiot gained that one position with a great launch there. Got Chenjay on the medium tyres to get him up the temperature. Danny Coe's playing it safe, staying in P7 where he started. Just tucked up behind. It looks like Justin's actually dropped a couple of positions. If I'm not mistaken. No, he hasn't actually. This telemetry glitch occurring at the moment. Should sort itself out. Hopefully won't occur in the 2021 game.
And Chenjay lost it a little bit and dropped down to P7. So Danny Coe goes up one position. Chenjay was a bit too greedy on the throttle and lost it on the exit of the Senna S, causing Danny Coe to be able to just pass him without the use of any extra energy. And we have a Sector 1 yellow flag. That's Larson, who retired in the pits, probably after damage. Very unfortunate to see him go this early. But if he feels he wouldn't be able to come back, I fear Mercedes had to retire the car.
Oh yeah, exactly. Larson just came in late, missing out in qualifying, I believe. So yes, he's not having a great day. He can probably go down to that palm tree in turn 9 and sip some pina coladas in a fold-up chair and watch the rest of the race. As you'd mentioned, Chenjay losing a couple of positions now, dropping 3 positions down to P7. But plenty of time to come back in this race. Looking good for Copy at the moment, even though he's just dropped 1 position. Chenjay's looking to come back now on Danny Coe. So this could be a run down to the center S's. It looks like it will be. Remember, Chenjay does have the better tyre. And how much of a fight is Danny Coe really going to put up this evening, knowing he's got a different tyre, different strategy, and he's also got a championship up for grabs. So I think they're not going to be too bold and brave just yet early in this championship.
Now, Owen did have a little look on Danico, but Danico showed that he doesn't want him to get past. So went a little bit defensive, and Owen decided to back out, not risk it, stay behind, just for a little bit more until DRS gets fully enabled, so the drivers can overtake each other a bit more easily. Of course, with the DRS train, it isn't much more easy, but it might help a little bit.
It is. You want to get the best possible exit out of the Jonko turn 11. Sorry, turn 12. This corner down here in the bottom, as you get the climb up the hill, that's when you're going to get that DRS almighty DRS activation. That's where you see a lot of those overtaking before you go down to center S's. Even without the DRS activation, slipstreams are almost pretty powerful. And you can see they're all going to get a mighty toe.
And Chenjay had a little look down Wazook's inside, but decided not to go for it, as he did grab the fastest lap. So Chenjay currently with the fastest lap. Looking on the overtake on Wazook, who is currently in P5. Chenjay not using any energy. Trying to have a tiny look down the inside. Doesn't go for it.
Casino de Largo, I've seen how many times the front right of the car behind hitting the rear left, and somebody goes a bit of a spinneroo, so he did think twice about that one. It's a little early for a very late dive. So everybody is, at the moment, that's quite amazing, isn't it? The top 14 drivers are separated by 9 seconds. This is esports pace and esports driving 101 right here on lap 4:36.
Now Chen is really close to Wazook, so if he can get a better exit here, he might be able to overtake him, as Wazook doesn't have the DRS from some idiot. So this is also a downside for Danico, because the group is starting to like fall apart a little bit as Chenjay chooses the outside of turn 1. Some idiot going the fastest lap of 109.5 on the medium tires, and Chenjay gets the position, is now in P5.
It's going to say if Wazook wants to try to come back on the second DRS activation here, but I think Chenjay is going to balance him off and try to turn everything he possibly can up. Knowing this, try to cover him off, and I believe he has. So it's Wazook down to P6. But he started in P6, hasn't really lost a position. But Danico is going to be next up on his hit list, and this is where Danny needs to get an overtake done very soon. Can't afford to let Copy get too far away from him.
As the first track limits penalty goes to Fox, currently in P15 in the Williams, gets a 3-second time penalty. Now this is a track where it's quite easy to get penalties. Of course, because of the uphill section in Sector 2, where you can't really see the exit curve that well, where it's easy to go out wide. And of course turn 4, after the DRS straight, also very easy to get a warning there.
Now, tyres should be pretty good for both the teams. We look like an overtake there. I'm not quite. Yes, it is. Somebody now is up in a P4. Well, he's in the P4, my apologies. Yeah, so the tyres are pretty good still for those softs. So they've got some, they should still have some track in it. Copy's tyres are about 30% in the rear. They're the rears. They're the ones that take a little bit more punching. The right-hand tyres, actually, they're the ones that take all the lateral G-load. And you're looking at about 25% for the medium. So they're not that much of a difference between the mediums and the softs at this point.
Though, of course, I think it's gonna be harder for the people on that are starting on the softs to do a soft medium than for people like Danico and Danico and some idiot who are doing medium soft. Of course, because towards the end, when they will go on softs, the car will be lighter, have less fuel on it, and have less tire wear. Towards the end of the race, where they will be trying to overtake as many people as possible on the faster tire compound and getting as high as possible in the positions. And Chenjay, it looks like he is closing down on some idiots by a tiny bit, trying to get back into the DRS, which would be a helping thing for Danico, being in the DRS train with the top guys. Of course, he wants to lose as little time as possible in this DRS train, so he wants to stay in the DRS of the car in front of him on the other tire compound.
It's because I believe at the moment somebody is really just being held up behind by Copy. I think, some idiot is definitely the opposite of what he says his name is. He's very, very, very sharp, very wise, very quick. And he obviously wants to get past Copy, but he also doesn't want to be, destroying Copy's chances as somebody that's not in this championship title battle. That's the thing. Copy's also backed up behind Justin, who's is backed up behind Jay. So that's the train at the top. Jay's now caught this train. And then you have a little bit of a gap to Was-UK. Just call him Was. He's got his little bit of a Dios train behind him. So let's see if anybody's going to be able to do anything at this evening in the top 5 drivers. Somebody didn't remember with that tire. It's a little bit less grip, but he's probably keeping Copy.
And Danico is going for the overtake on Wazook. It's side by side and has passed into the Senna S. Wazook trying the switchback, but doesn't make it happen. Of course, he will have the DRS now, or will it be for Danny? It looks like it is for Wazook. Wazook might be able to come back as Danny is boosting, but he doesn't have much energy. Wazook going to the outside, Danny braking a little bit later. Switchback for Wazook on the left side. They're going side by side back up the hill.
He's going to have the inside line too, yes. That could have been a perfect little... But then again, Danny's covering him off, so that's a little bit of breathing space too for the Ferrari driver. Championship title is still there, still available. Good position for him to be in. P6 will win it, but still very early days. We haven't had our first round of pit stops yet, and we're only lap 8:36.
Now Danny has to save up his energy a little bit if he wants to catch Chenjay, who's in P5 currently, as Danny is leading this DRS train that is behind him of himself, Wazook, and Owen, I believe that is. We have a yellow flag. That's Owen, Speak of the Devil, who just spun in the Haas, currently in P12, dropped down to P13, all the way from P8. Very unfortunate for him. I wonder if it was an incident or if he was just a bit too greedy on the throttle. Let's hope it wasn't an incident.
I couldn't quite see. It just looked like it was in the... So it was the second time I think he spun there. He spun there during qualifying as well. Maybe one of those turns he doesn't really like in the middle sector, I believe. So Justin's getting pretty close, tucked up behind. I think he's getting sick of steering at the rear wing of the Mercedes this evening, and he knows he's got those drivers behind him that are eager to get on with it. Where to get the overtaking? Everybody seems to be matching each other off pretty well. The only real overtaking that we've seen this evening is from Danny and Chenjay and some idiot.
And I'm looking and back towards the midfield. We have both the racing points actually behind each other. So they're following close behind each other, trying to catch Dragon. And Tipsy Bob, who is the racing point in P10, is actually on the soft tire compared to the other drivers in on medium tires who started beyond the top 10.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off there for a second. It looked like some idiot almost... Chenjay's going to make a run on some idiot. Some idiot actually... Oh, there's a bit of a tap between Chenjay and somebody that's gone spinning. Oh, he's kept it, luckily, because there was a bit of a tap from Chenjay. I wonder if they caught each other off there, because Chenjay is on those soft tires. Somebody before had to brake a little bit earlier to avoid hitting the back of Copy. And that compromised his exit speed out of the center S's. And then Chenjay went to pounce on that one. And then Chenjay had a bit of a, hey, hello, I'm here. So it's a moment with some idiot. Somebody is back on there. I wonder if Chenjay got any damage. You can't quite see on the front of his wing. It was a bit of a knock, but he's all right. No end plates. If anything, it might be lime green, but still game on, race on. So Chenjay's up at a P4 with, as I said, a little bit of a moment between him and some idiot. And that means Chenjay's going to be unleashed, really, to try to put some pressure on Copy while he has the tyre that's still a little bit grippier, per se. You're getting around 50% now rear right on those soft tyres. So at some point, somebody's going to have to take that gamble as an undercut. Let's say they're going to try to perhaps copy a Max Verstappen strategy that we saw earlier today. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the race.
We have a spinner in the last turn, which is Rafondes in the Alfa Romeo on the medium tires, who appears to have spun, I think on his own. I don't think it was an incident, because I'm pretty sure he was driving alone, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Drop down
Keep
to
an eye on
P13 now.
The battle for Dragon. Dragon's under huge pressure from that Bance. And that's got both the racing points are ready to pounce on that for that Red Bull. And that was really close there. That Banks was also... They're on the medium tyres too, those two guys. Dragon. And that Banks. That Bance. Never heard that name before. We'll see. Climbing up the hill. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if somebody is going to try to come back at Chenjay as well too, as they're going to be climbing up through the DRS zone. Not quite sure which battle to follow here. Most likely some idiot in Chenjay.
Now this makes me wonder if Chenjay might have damage, because some idiot has caught up a lot on those medium tires. Of course, the softs are starting to die down, whereas the mediums a bit less.
Yeah,
so
medium's
it
about
might have
40.
just been the tire difference.
About 46 rear right there from some idiot, so it's a bit of punishment for the rear right. Well, all the cars have that rear right punishment. Yeah, if Chenjay does, it's going to be lime green damage, because he's still got his end plate. He doesn't have his telemetry turned on, so I can't tell you specifically how much damage he has in that car. He's hiding it from me. Don't you worry, Chenjay. I'll hack into it. I'll find out what it is. You can't hide from the Beagles. I get the telemetry.
Time to hack into the mainframe.
Hacked into some of these drivers this evening and some of their cars. Obviously the important ones. Copy and Dedico. I need to know their information, which I have. Justin's still not doing too much about Jay.
Danny is right on the edge of DRS. And it looks like he will barely get it from some idiot. And yes, he does. He barely gets into the DRS. But this will get him a little bit of a suck into the DRS train of the top 6. Now, it doesn't look like that big of an advantage, but he can brake a bit later. Locks up his left front. Which, of course, in this game doesn't impact that much on tire wear. But from what I have seen in the beta, in the next game, lockups are gonna be very, very harshly punished.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. I'd like to see that, because there's a lot of lockups in tracks like Singapore, Abu Dhabi, especially when you see basically like that drag strip forming. So much rubber is laid down in some of those corners. It's ridiculous. It's just black by the end of the race with tar. And yeah, well, with rubber. So really, at the moment, Copy is coping with his tires quite well, because he's looking at about 60% now to the right tires, front, left, and front, rear. He's got a bit of pressure from Chenjay. Chenjay must also be feeling that tire wear. I think that's also chewing through some idiot's tires, because he's getting close to that 55% range as well, and that's the mediums. As who's making a run right now? Some idiot making a run on Chenjay.
And side by side, Chenjay, I think, decides to brake a little bit earlier, trying to get the DRS on the next straight. That's
I think that, yeah. He's punished his tires for sure. I think Chenjay, because he's battling it out, remember, a lot. He was really close, in the really close dirty air to the other drivers. He may have punished his tires a little bit too much. We don't quite sure if he's got any little bit of damage at the front of that car. But at that point, he's getting overtaken by the mediums. He's going to be under pressure from Danico as well now. That's going to show you that that's it for the tires. He must be definitely approaching the 60% range now for those softs. That'll give, obviously, Copy a little bit of breathing space, but Copy's now going to be having a very close some idiot behind him. You can see the pace that some idiot's starting to get on Copy. So this could very well be pit stop territory for the top 3, if not Chenjay. At some point, is it worthwhile staying out?
Now I wonder, I think in about 2 laps, most of the soft drivers will start to go in as lap 16 is approaching. I think that's when most of the drivers will start going in. As we say, Copy is now pulling into the pits for an undercut.
I think he's played it safe. He had to. His tyres were getting up to about 65% rights. That's getting close to a zone you don't want, because obviously it's not puncher, but it's losing at material. Switching on to the mediums. Where's that going to slot him back out? Well, it's a very long pit exit. It's almost a whole sector. But he should be able to cover off a McLaren of Was UK, who's boxed before. So that's like be okay. You want to get out ahead of the McLaren and not get the dirty air. He's got clean air now, perfect. So he's got a bit of road up there to the Ferrari. But the Ferrari's on the outside. So this might be very well perfect for him. Now he's got to get his head down, and basically it's copy time, as Bono would say to Lewis Hamilton. Try to put in those really quick blistering laps.
And it's for Fondas again, who's exploring the track, got a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Now that's
exploring another
harsh.
country.
Yeah, he went. I think he flew over to the previous race of Mexico instead of driving here in Interlagos in Brazil.
That's
a very harsh penalty.
He's gone to the Argentinian track right there for that sort of penalty. Exactly.
And
10 seconds. I don't even know where you could go.
Front wing. He's missing the left.
So the other soft guys are boxing at the start there, so it's a pit lane battle. So you obviously got Chen JJ, you got Justin, so we got the provisional leaders before the race. They're down now, all coming out of the pit lane, so it's going to stay where they were. Jay, Justin. Copy's got P8.
Will Copy
He's slotted
come in
out ahead
front?
of them.
Will Copy come out in front of Jay? It doesn't look like, but he does come out in P2, that is actually. So he's undercut.
fantastic.
Justin is now in P2 behind the Mercedes of Jay. So
Yes,
this is
it's
interesting for the.
And
for
he's
the
got the
championship.
tires up. And he's got the tires up the temperature as well, so he's got to get ready to pounce as quickly as possible on Jay while Jay's trying to get the temperature into those tires. So yeah, brilliant strategy from the Williams team.
That is very good indeed. As I wonder how much that one lap will impact his tire wear towards the end. It shouldn't be a lot. But now, will Danico be able to be quicker on those medium tires?
That's true. That's true. Well, he's going to be obviously stretching those mediums to go to the softs towards the end, but then you got a little bit of overtaking to do. So far, a really good first sector too from Copy. He lit up a 17.1. He was the fastest first sector, I believe, all afternoon. And he had a little bit of a slower middle sector. That's because he's in that traffic there, but he's picked it back up again. He has the fastest lap of 109.3. And that was the last lap. Let's see, but with the traffic, what he can do now, he's got to get past Jay as quickly as possible if he can. That's no easy feat, obviously, because Jay did qualify in P3, and has the pace.
So this will make it quite a bit more interesting. I wonder what the likes of Danico and Somediat are going to do. If they're going to stay out or if they're going to go for example, a soft tire compound. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, it's the safety car now. Completely forgot about that. So all that's going to work. That's going to work brilliantly for these medium runners because I think they should box. They definitely should box. They are. Somebody boxing. Danny's going to have to box to cover it off. It would be pointless not to get a free chip. Yeah, it's just kind of played very well into the hands of Danico. Because Dragon's going to box. So are the other medium runners, because it's, yeah, you know, your mediums are up about 60 to 65%. You know, you don't take a free pit stop under the safety car. You're just blowing a cheap pit stop.
So now this is going to be close. Is Danico going to come out in P2 or is Jay going to come out in P2? This is really going to be close. Of course, Jay doesn't have a Delta, but I don't think that Jay does either.
But Kopi could get the Ferrari here of Danico. Look at this. Wow. And actually, the Ferrari has to slot in behind. Who's that? That's...
Justin is actually behind Danico. So Justin, our pole sitter, is currently down in P5. Now, I do think this is going to be very interesting. Of course, Copy is going to defend as hard as possible against Danico. But how hard is he going to be able to defend and for how long? Of course, Danico is on the softer tire compound, but I think he will have to tire save a little bit.
Exactly. It's going to be very, very tough, isn't it? Knowing that these two gentlemen are here, P3 and P4. Copy knows he needs a win here. He can't afford to be Danny getting past him. He needs Danny further down the field. He needs Danny to have some sort of issue and drop back. Because remember, it's a 19-point deficit between them. Danny has that advantage. And Copy, getting the tires up the temperature. He's a little lucky that he had, he had boxed just a couple laps earlier. So he's used to these mediums and got him up to temperature. Got to keep him up to temperature. But that Danny's going to be absolutely flying, isn't he? In those soft tires.
Yes, him and Soft Idiot are both going to be very, very quick on those tires. It's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds. I really wonder how much Copy is going to be able to defend against Danico. Of course, in this position, Danny does win the championship. So Danny doesn't even have to overtake him. Exactly, Danny doesn't. No, I know it's all copies to lose. Well, it's obviously it's Danny's to lose, but Danny's already won it. It's all copies to make or break situation. Copy needs to just P1. He needs to get up there, but somebody is not going to be an easy person. I mean, perhaps Jay, I'd say you could definitely look at getting past Jay, but trying to get past some idiot on the soft tires is going to be a tall ask. But he needs that
race win and hope something goes with Danny. And that safety car was because of Rafodes, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and P4 has retired the Alfa Romeo, terminally damaged on track somewhere. Can't quite sure where it was, if you recall.
I believe it was in the second turn of Sector 2. That would be 1, 2, 3, or 5. Turn 5, I believe that is.
Cecido de Lago. Okay. Yeah, the lake. G'day in the Twitch chat. Welcome to the last race of the season here for Tier 1 with a bit of Tier 2 mixed in it. Reserve drivers and so forth for TSRL Season 9. And this is the Brazilian Grand Prix, the last round. And g'day Strix and Dragon.
The car is in this lap, so from here on out, some idiot is leading the pack, and he can choose the pace.
We're just over halfway to the race too, so we've still got plenty of laps to go. Plenty of racing, good conditions as well, so just a little overcast and some sunshine perhaps, but it's no rain. Here we go, somebody to control. He is the safety car now. Can he get a launch? He should be able to get a fantastic launch, but keep an eye on Danico behind Copy. Copy's got a good launch, hasn't he? Copy's got a fantastic launch. He's almost bringing it to Jay after that safety car restart, so he's going to be very happy knowing that Danny wasn't putting pressure on him immediately.
And Danico is following closely behind Copy, so I will wonder how many risks will he take. If I was him, I would just stay behind and don't risk anything. Of course, Copy will try to slow him down to drop out of the top 8, but this will be very, very interesting.
The Red Bull of Dragons in the middle of the walls with the McLaren was. Look at that. They're going to be side by side as they climb up the hill. 10-10. That's going to be a tricky one. He's even going to try on the outside. They're not giving up. I have seen cars go 2 abreast through this whole track almost side by side. Looks like they're going to prove they want to do that again today. Going down to Junko, and they'll be climbing up the hill. And I think even the Red Bull may be able to get him off the bat. But keep an eye on Danico, obviously, back on P4. That's probably where you want to see that, because Danico should be ready to make a run on Copy without the DRS. Pure slipstream.
They are both using the overtake button, but I think Danico's pulling out to the outside, brakes a bit later. They're still side by side into turn 2.
They're not yielding.
So they're touching each other. Danico gets a 3-second time penalty.
Look at this.
Copy
they're not yielding at all.
Leave him much room at all to play with.
It's end pod. It's side pod. It's side pod. Lucky it's not 2021. Otherwise, it'd be damaged right there in this game. Look at that. They're not yielding at all.
And
Copy is not yielding. He doesn't want to give it up. Danny wants it side by side. The tires are just rubbing and scrubbing. There's red paint and white paint all over those cars.
And Copy keeps it for now. As it touches, Danico gets wing damage.
Yes, he has. He's lost the front wing. He's outbraked himself a little bit. He could see he's clearly quicker on the soft tires, but he should know that Copy isn't going to yield, and he should know too that Copy's tires are a little. So there it is. He's going to. Oh, they are just absolutely at it, aren't they?
They're absolutely going
they're
for
losing
it. Danico
positions.
must be fuming. And now he gets touched by the Red Bull of VE Dragon. They're still going. Copy spins. Copy spins.
Copy spins.
And there goes his championship dream. Copy in P13.
Yeah, not 100% just yet, because you got to remember too that Danico's got damage. So Copy's got to get his head down here at the moment. Another safety car can easily bring him back into play. Don't give up just yet, especially with that trophy is so close to your hands. Obviously, it must be gutting, but we have seen before in the past, haven't we, even with the real F1, that you can spin and you can all of a sudden make your way back up. Anything can happen to Danico. If Danico can DNF, Copy can try to make his way back up to the field here. So, yes, plenty of time. Well, there is time. I say plenty of time, but there's certainly time. Certainly because Danico has damage. Now, Danico has 31% damage on his front left. So he's going to have to box. Otherwise, he's going to be under huge attack there for the rest of the field behind it, you can see. So, there's still for Copy to play here. Copy shouldn't give up just yet. He's also got those medium tires that can go pretty deep into this race.
Of course, Copy does have to win the race, even if Danny doesn't get any points to win the championship, which is, of course, very unlikely, but you never know. Everything can still happen. We still have 14 laps to go, so it is still quite a bit.
Does he need to win, or you get a P2, I guess, if he gets the fastest lap?
Then it will be equal, but then Danico still wins the championship.
Yeah, he needs to win
by the wins.
Well,
so he needs to win if he wants the championship.
Tipsy Bob, I think, is a bit of a tipsy moment with the other Ferrari. Is that Tipsy Bob passed? I think it is.
They both don't have much ERS. Timo has now 0 ERS. Side by side of Tipsy Bob, breaks later and gets the move done. Badband's having a little look on Tipsy Bob as well, but keeps it behind. Timo using all of his juice.
Up ahead, the Red Bulls are battling it out too. So I think Dragon was unleashed by Justin because there are different strategies. They didn't want to battle it out this evening. They wanted to impress Mr. Christian. They want to keep the boss nervous. That's a spinner, and there's a spinner. That banks. That banks banked it into the wall there. And that will be out of turn 8, I think, up the top of the hill. So that's going to maybe a position from Kopi. Kopi's still.
Oh, and he spins again.
He spins again. He's got to be very careful. Kopi's going to be coming around this corner right now. Very soon, he's going to see that pink Mercedes parked on the side of the road. I think the pink Mercedes is just trying to do a turning steering wheel. Here we go. Kopi's going to pass him. So that's another position gain from Kopi. But yeah, that banks couldn't you believe it doesn't even have any damage on that racing point? Wow.
Drifting through the corners, his tires must be boiling hot. As he was stuck in the grass for just a little bit, but he's sliding for every corner. His tires must be so hot.
Yeah, I think Woz at the moment is going to be looking at cooking up some Ferrari for afternoon lunch. But he has got the medium tire, but knowing that Danico has end plate damage, front wing damage, you should be able to get him on the main straight. They're lining him up. He's also got a very angry Ferrari behind him ready to pounce. This is helping the leaders. Some idiot Jay and Dragon now trying to get it pull away. Look at that. Somebody's already got almost 4-second gap to Jay.
Now the penalty situation, everyone who has the penalties has 3 seconds, apart from Nico, who has 9 seconds. Some idiot now setting the fastest lap again, doing a 108.6. Very impressive time by him. Leading the race by
Chenjay's
almost
coming
4
back
seconds.
now. Chenjay on Tipsy Bob. So the young North American driver is making his way back up to P8, witnessing a 3-second penalty as well, as you'd mentioned. Still isn't doing too much about Danico just yet. And there's a bit of a changeover again, I guess, between the... Yeah, Dragons dropped back now behind Justin. After they had... I think it's race orders. There's no race team orders at play there between the Red Bulls up ahead, especially if they're going to be allowed to battle like that. That's going to bring... Danico just can't keep up with that pace, I don't think, anymore with that damage. Needs to get past him as quickly as possible because it's a bit of a train forming behind that McLaren now.
Yes, it is very close in the midfield. The 2 leaders that put away, and that's 2 as that band's retiring in the pits. I thought for a second that we had a crash towards the front, but it's just a car retiring in the pits, choosing not to finish the race.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just behind them as well. Chenjay making his way up past the Ferrari, so Chenjay's not waiting around. He's speeding up through there, and he's basically going to be putting the pressure on Woz now, saying, Woz, get on with it. Hurry up. You're going to make an overtake on Danny. Otherwise, I'm going to be overtaking you soon. As he is going to think about that. Once again, we've switcheroo between those Red Bulls, so they're definitely racing. There's no team orders there.
No, Dragon doesn't have much ERS. He only has 11%, whereas Justin has 54. So Justin has the advantage on the battery power side. But how much will that help him? Because Justin is, of course, on the slower tire compound compared to Dragon.
Tires are going to come to play too, isn't it? They're going to wear through them. We've still got about 10 laps to go. And these guys are already chewed through 7 or so laps of those soft tires. Is that going to come into play, those mediums, a little bit later on? I think it very well will.
Now let's see what Chenjay can do on the McLaren of Wazook. Flying up the hill, DRS open, using all of his energy. He actually has nothing left, 0%. Braking a little bit later, around the outside. Still there, he keeps it. Now still side by side, Wazook has the inside, so he does go in front. Now Chenjay has the DRS, but he doesn't have the energy to back it up, so he can't overtake him. So he is still in P7 behind the McLaren.
Exactly right. I think Danny's still doing a pretty fantastic job nursing this car, nursing this damaged Ferrari home, keeping these guys behind him, knowing he just needs to bring this car home in, really, I mean, just where it is right now is even fine, but he's a racer at heart. His tyres are, about 30% at the moment, so there's still plenty of grip left in them. They'll start falling off the cliff by around lap 30.
Now look at the gap that some idiot has pulled on a soft, almost 6 seconds to the P2 driver of Jay. Very impressive pace by some idiot who's in the lead of this race.
That's just crushing Copy's hopes, isn't it? Because Copy, now running in last position, is 35 seconds away from that race leading position that he needs to be in, that some idiot currently is in. He's basically crossing his fingers and praying for a safety car right now that'll bring him back into play. But at the moment, the championship is definitely gone for the Williams driver.
Copy 16 seconds behind the P11 driver of Nico. I don't want to say this, but I think that's championship over for Copy. I really don't think he will be able to come back anymore. And
no, even the safety car's the only thing that could bring him into play, but that's still a tall order, isn't it? To get it. I mean, a safety car at the right place. You know what I mean? Like if something happened and he was the first to jump in the pits there for a safety car. Yeah, that's a miracle. I mean, miracles do happen here in Interlagos. We've seen it before in the past, but this might very well be the problem. Is time now, and it looks like. Oh, I thought for a second Danico was going to box there, but he was just.
The Red Bulls are going at it again. Justin is now switched places again with Dragon. A little bit of a touch there, but it didn't give him any ring damage. So Justin is now back into P3. Those two Red Bulls are really battling. Justin weaving there a little bit, saying sorry to his teammate for tapping his wing. But I don't think it gave the Dragon any damage.
Well, I'm just curious to see how this is going to play in the fact that, because Justin is, what are you looking at, about 20 points behind Copy in the championship. Justin's looking at securing that P3. If Justin can get a race win here and Copy's out of the points, he could steal that P2 away. And that's a stretch, obviously. Try to catch both Jay and some idiot. But once again, a late safety car could come into play for Justin's chances of getting second in the championship.
It could be very interesting indeed. Now, let's hope that there will... Actually, should we hope that there won't be a safety car, or should we hope for a safety car?
Well, I think hoping for a safety car, because that would just spice things up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the field is quite spread out, and that is Wazook going defensive against Danico. And now Chenjay going down the inside of Danico. Chenjay keeps it down the inside, has to back out, because there isn't any room. Now he did save up some DRS. And now he will just fly past Danico.
Oh, it's going to be a 3 abreast as well. The other Ferrari's thinking about it.
Oh, Timo actually comes out on top.
Timo does, yes. Timo does.
What a move by Timo, that is.
Wow, fantastic. He got 2 for a price of 1 in one corner there.
Around the outside of 2 cars, including one of those was his teammate. Very impressive move from Timo.
Exactly. Strixat said good fight there. Totally agree with you. I hope you're enjoying this entertainment for the last time this racing season here. For the last race, it's apparently been very entertaining. Some bumper-to-bumper wheel action for sure from these drivers. Nothing that some idiot has to worry about right now. With a 7-second gap up the road, probably even going to see anybody around him. But certainly in this midfield, it's heating up for sure. 6 to 7 laps, 6 laps remaining now in this race. Not looking good. The championship hopes for Kopi are practically done and dusted. And Danico's just nursing this stricken Ferrari home now.
It also looks like Timo might be running a little bit less wings than Chenjay on the straight, because Timo just keeps pulling away on the straight, even with both of them having DRS. It looks like Timo is a bit more slippery on the straight line. Chenjay does have quite a bit of problems overtaking people, as he didn't have much ERS before, and now he's still on P7, so he didn't actually gain any position. Since the, I think, 3rd lap of when the safety car ended. So he is really hoping for good overtaking possibility on Timo and on Wazook for P5, as those two are the closest to him. And Nico currently in P8, still in the DRS zone of Chenjay.
And Chenjay's going to get him near the Ferrari. If I know Chenjay is a fighter, he's a battler, he wants every single position he can get, regardless of where he is on track. Not quite on this lap. He's going to probably size him up in the second DRS zone down Reto Apostle.
The Red Bulls are going at it again. Dragon is now past Justin, so I think they're just playing around a little bit. They don't have much else to do. So they're just fighting a bit in between, because I think that was Justin lifting before the corner, letting his teammate go again. A Sector 1 yellow flag, who is that? That's Nico, who has spun out of the Senna S, currently in P11. As Copy is boxing, actually. Copy is in the pit lane.
I think Copy's going to try to go for a fastest lap just as some sort of consolation prize, although he won't get it in P12. But you never know, anything can happen. Couple of DNFs.
That's some idiot currently with the fastest lap of a 108.6. Let's see if Copy will be able to beat that.
I think he will. I think he has the pace. Obviously, he qualified in P2. And Chenjay's looking to make it on Was now around the outside. Chenjay's driving. He's somehow making these soft tires work quite well to his advantage. And he does have the McLaren. So the AlphaTauri is making his way back up to P5. Just one position down from where he started. But remember too, Chenjay's made 2 additional pit stops than the other drivers up ahead. So they've made 1 pit stop. Chenjay's made 3.
Chenjay now up to P5. I wonder if Chenjay is going to be able to catch the fighting Red Bulls up in front. Or if that's just a little bit too far for him to reach.
I think so. I think he will. I mean, if he's balancing his tires, those you can see Justin's actually struggling with the tire grip for sure. And well, that's Justin and Dragon. Yeah. Well, Dragon's tires is about 60% right, 61%. Sure, Chenjay's probably around that sort of tire, even though his tires are about 1 lap fresher. Somebody his tires must really be getting close to about 60, close to 70%. I wonder if they're going to be very close to puncher territory for somebody. To be very careful there. He's still pushing 108.9 laps. He's pretty much the quickest man on track, so he's not backing off for sure. So some idiot pushing this like crazy, get a puncture. I have seen punctures around that territory. That could blow that race win all over. I think some idiot doesn't really have to worry too much because he's not in this championship battle. He's having fun, I think. He's becoming a Pirelli test driver this evening.
Now somebody that really does not have to worry about anything as he will be lapping. He already lapped his first back marker of Nico. Quite late into the race. Although we do have quite a lot of DNFs. We have, I think that's 5 cars that have not finished.
Copy's gonna cross the line right now, and there will be your fastest lap for the wins driver as a consolation prize at least. There it is. It's a 107.8. He might even go quicker again for this next lap, no doubt, as he's going to be burning off just with basically just a couple of litres of fuel left in his car. So he is in 11. So anything happens up ahead, he can get that point at least. It won't be enough for the championship, but it'll give him some consolation prize, knowing that that battle that he had with Danny Coe earlier, that inevitably ended him into a spin, destroyed his championship hopes.
Now Wazook again on the gearbox of Chenjay, but Chenjay appeared to have the better exit. So I think Wazook is just charging up his battery to go for a last lap overtake.
I think the tyres are coming in play right now. As Chenjay's chewed through those tyres and they're starting to lose a lot of the traction. And this is when Wazzy's 20 lap mediums can probably have a little bit better performance. I'm not quite sure. There might even be even Stevens, but you can see Waz just seems a lot more comfortable, doesn't he, on the traction?
He does really, he looks like he's much more confident to stamp on the throttle and get a better exit. Although Chenjay does appear to be pulling away on each exit. Maybe Wazook is just taking it slowly. He has 50% battery now. That's enough to attack at least twice here. But Chenjay also has 35% to defend.
Somebody its tyres are at 70% now. That's not quite puncher territory, is it? But he's on the last lap. If he's staying off those chicanes, I don't think you need to tell some idiot that he's not going to stay off those chicanes.
And
He's
Wazook
gonna
is side
keep
by
going.
side with Chenjay and is already past. Chenjay going for the switchback. They're going side by side onto the second straight. Chenjay is in the lead again, but now Wazook has the DRS. Chenjay does as well, I think. Yes, he does. They're both on low air, still side by side. And Chenjay comes out on top with the inside for the next turn.
And I think at the moment you're going to start seeing these drivers start slowing down and doing some donuts, because this is it. Somebody it's obviously going to wrap this race up if he wants to. For sure, 72% front right. Expect to see Danico, who's already won this championship, probably just lift off and start doing some donuts down the main straight soon. As I'm sure some of the other drivers will, because that's it for the championship. Some idiots of a win in Brazil from P5 all the way up into P1 with some really old worn tyres. But that doesn't affect the championship, because the championship has been won by this man, Danny Coe, back down in P9. Is he going to back off and do some donuts? Come on, Danny, you deserve it. The championship is yours, my friend. I think he just wants to cross the line. He's not going to do donuts. Oh, we're looking for donuts. Come on, there it is. So he'll finish in P8. He'll wrap up the championship. At least Copy comes. Come on, Copy, get out there and do some donuts. You got nothing to lose, my friend. You got the fastest lap, at least, as a consolation prize. You did try to bring it very close. You did a good, fantastic qualifying session, qualifying up into P2. But just at the end of the day, that trophy was just a little bit too far out of reach. But second in a championship, along with these very, very quick drivers, is definitely a fantastic driver and showing you your skill all season.
Definitely a fantastic race we've witnessed here as the season's last race. And Copy is coming towards the finish line now, lifting off the throttle.
Yeah, he's not going to do donuts, but come on, Copy. I just think you just want to get it home. There it is.
There it is. And congratulations to Danny Coe with winning the Drivers and the Constructors Championship this season, with the game giving Timo a Driver of the Day, his Ferrari teammate. So again, congratulations to Danny Coe winning the championship this year, or this season should I say, in 2SL Tier 1. With a great finishing race. Of course, a little bit of a controversy towards the middle of the race, where there was quite a bit of touching between Copy and Danny Coe. But I don't think that any penalties would affect it anymore, seeing as how far back Copy was. But GG to Some Idiot for winning the race, Jay Vragen for getting P2, and of course Justin for that P3. Well,
Exactly.
this was
Justin
a very
was saying
interesting race.
Justin was saying the championship, if he finished P2, could have got. If he finished second, he could have got P2 in the championship. We saw that as well too. But well, he did everything he could with the qualifying. Just that little bit lack on the racing performance that you were saying.
This was, I really enjoyed commentating this race. I don't know how about you, but I think this was a really, really good race to commentate.
It's fantastic, my friend. Brazil always produces, doesn't it? Good wheel-to-wheel racing. This is why this used to be a fantastic race just in the regular F1 season. It's just unfortunate that they don't have a few $1 billion more than the likes of United Arab Emirates to let's steal those races away. But at least in the virtual world, you can set this as the last track. Extreme Racing League. The 2S Racing League always produces. That's the Tier 1, isn't it? And obviously, as those Tier 2, as you said, merged into the Tier 1 with reserves. Dutch commentator? Vito?
Yes, I mean, I'm not Dutch, but I do speak it, so close enough. But
so interviews, I think, right? Definitely for sure for the last time. You want to hear from from the drivers in the championship?
We have Justin waiting in General 4, so let's pull him in and see what he has to say. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, congratulations on P3 and a very interesting race with you battling with your teammate throughout basically the whole second part of the race. How did you find the race today?
The race was good. Could have been a lot better. Well, I think tops could have been P2 with some idiot, but all in all, happy with my pace. And then fighting with my teammate. We kind of tried to communicate with each other. He goes ahead, and then he tries to drag me along. But then it turns out he couldn't, so then I took the position back, and then the next lap he was quicker, so then we just kept switching positions left, right, and center. But then in the end, I was the fastest driver, but Jay was already 4 seconds up the road, so there was no point in that. And I said that P2 would have gotten me P2 in the championship, but actually I forgot I needed first, so I needed 20 points. So yeah, that was a bit out of reach, but hey, at least I my first tier 1 season finished 3 points behind first, so that's that.
Absolutely fantastic. What happened to your teammate too at the end? He finished in P10. There's something we missed.
He did donuts just before the line.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That made sense. We missed that actually. Yeah, that was a fantastic battle. So yeah, there was no team orders at the end? No, that's good. Fantastic. Didn't take each other out too as well. Yeah. Third, almost second in the championship you'd mentioned. And you did everything you could possibly do, right? The qualifying performance was brilliant. We were obviously very happy with that lap.
Yeah, I mean, it was a new PB for me, 5 flat, I think it was, or just over that. And before it was a 0.7, so came out of nowhere. But I guess when you have the mentality to win or nothing, I guess that's that. But at least we today solidified P2 in the constructors with Red Bull, so I'd rather that, honestly. So.
And you boxed on the same lap as the Mercs. Do you think an undercut or an overcut would have perhaps given you an opportunity to get that P2 position and strategy?
I felt like I had the pace to go for another lap because the lap J boxed, I was actually still saying green sectors, so I was still going quicker. So I felt comfortable, but then going out again, turned out the other undercut was just that much better. But yeah, he boxed like 2 laps before us, so there was that. So not really much I could have done.
Yeah, I believe too. That was the safety car. I'm not sure if you boxed. Yeah, it was boxing a safety car, so of course you had to anyway at that point. Well, yeah, it's been obviously a pretty good season from you. So you've had your 3 race victories. You're the yourself, Vexit had 3, and Denico had 3 as well. So you must be pretty happy as well to be with those guys. All finished with 3 race wins. Nobody else had any more than 3 race wins. You had a couple of podiums there as well. You got a podium in Australia. You got a podium in Canada as well. And then just off, this is the first time you've been back on that podium in a lot of races too. So you feel probably an extra podium or even a race win somewhere along the lines like Silverstone, Hungary, and Italy and Belgium. And I think you could have definitely been right up the top there battling for the championship.
Yeah, it was up until race 13 where it all went south. I think it was 13 or somewhere I finished 9th or something.
Yeah, 9th in Austria.
Yeah, that didn't help me at all.
Yeah. But that goes to show, and Japan as well too. So 2 tracks that, but that's I mean, consistency is still pretty good, isn't it? There's no DNFs all season. You attended every single race, which is what you need to do. Just bring the car home. You finished in the top 10 every single race as well. That's fantastic consistency. So you think obviously if you're going to be a part of the next season with the new game, that championship, I'd have to say, is definitely available for you now.
Hope so.
Fantastic. So anything you want to say to your fans or anything out there, Justin, in the chat?
Yeah, Brazil has the best fans. I don't know. It was a good season.
Still I rise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, excellent.
All right. So thank you for a good season. Thank you for a good race, and hopefully we'll see you on the next game in the new season in SLR Tier 1 again.
Yeah, of course.
Fighting for the championship, possibly again.
Yeah.
All right. So have a good one, Justin.
You too. See you.
And now we shall pull in Jay, who is our P2 finisher. So let's pull him in real quick. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Congratulations on P2 in the race, and so give us your experience about the whole race from start to finish.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it was a tough race. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a great battle with Justin just before the pit stops. So that was kind of difficult to keep in front as well. But I was kind of surprised and didn't even try an undercut. because you could pretty much do an undercut and get ahead of me. But that's fine by me. And yeah, then the safety car came out. I started out on my new mediums, and then yeah, you had idiot on fresh softs in P1. So P1 was out of the window. So I said to myself, let's go for P2, and I got it. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good. I mean, strategy did the same as well too. It's 15 laps on the softs, 21 laps on the mediums. Obviously, yeah, the mediums are still pretty good towards the end. I imagine. I think I was checking up on hacking into you guys' cars and getting that telemetry information.
Yeah, the mediums felt pretty good. I was doing like consistent 9.3s, 9.4s for like 10 laps straight on them. So yeah, they felt fine towards the end as well.
And it is so, Jay. You like the twos so far this season. You obviously came in late in the season. I believe your first race was in Silverstone, which you got the P2, yeah. And then you got a P2 in Belgium, and then you got a P2 in Italy, I believe. So yeah, twos are it, and obviously another 2 here to wrap up the season in Brazil. Yeah. So I think you're definitely, once again, just as we were mentioning before, Justin, and a few did not starts as well. So if I believe you have the ability to attend more races if you are racing in the next season, you're also going to be a very strong championship contender.
I mean, I would love to race next season, but we're gonna see what we're gonna do. But if I could, I'll definitely race next season. But yeah, the P2 is haunting me down, man. I want the P1 now.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. You're definitely hungry for it. Well, I think obviously if you can attend more races, as said, like obviously it's hard for everybody these days with school and work and all the other jazzes. Everything's back to normal, but still.
No, yeah, if I don't miss half of the season, so at the start out would be great as well. But yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a nice next season with hopefully a full season. So we're gonna see how much points I could get.
Fantastic. Well, proven there, and obviously that race win is inevitable. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. I say with your consistency. So good on you, Jay. That was good, and obviously you just destroyed Justin's chances of getting second in the championship because he really wanted to get past you, but you just matched him and controlled that, and obviously couldn't keep up to somebody who can. Somebody is just in a league of his own, isn't he?
He kind of is, yep. It's hard because on those new softs he's gonna fly off anyway, and especially with his pace, it's just impossible to keep up.
Well, fantastic. Do you want to say anything to your fans out there? Anything in your own language, native tongue? I mean, I know Vito could probably understand it. I can't, but it's for everybody else.
Well, yeah. Thank you at least. But no Dutchy for tonight.
No. Come on. At least something.
Oh, Vito, goede kerel. Ja, lekker gedaan, pik.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you, man.
All right, thank you for the interview. Hopefully we'll see you back next season, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, you too.
All right. So let's try and get Daniel on here. Let me ping him real quick.
Yep, Danny, of course, we'd love to hear from the championship leader. And I don't know if Kopi would like to speak to us as well, but Kopi should. I mean, obviously, going to be a little bit disappointed that he's going to finish second in the championship, but still a very strong season. And those just drivers deserve, if they can, to tell us about how their race and race season had gone. We'd like to hear from them. I'm sure you guys out there in YouTube would also like to hear from the drivers because they've committed a whole pretty strong race season as well on both Danny and Danny's only missed one race. Kopi hasn't missed any of those races. So,
all right. And speaking of Danny, let's pull him in. Danny, congratulations on the World Drivers Championship and on the Constructors Championship here in 2S. And yeah, how did your race go?
It was alright in the mediums, but then for some reason went scrappy on the softs. And I got damaged and then had it for the whole second stint, which was pain because it was a full
I saw that. About what was that? About 20-something%, I think, front left wing.
It was a full end point, so
yeah. Well, mate, congratulations. I mean, obviously you've been sprayed in champagne. You've got that shiny new driver's trophy. You've had a strong season. Only one did not start in Singapore, but you committed to every other race. 3 race victories as well. under your belt, and obviously a handful of podiums. You finished no further down than 9th, and so probably Italy's the track that or race you probably want to forget, but everything else is pretty strong. Wrap up your season. How do you feel about this? And yeah.
The season overall was good because I got the championship, but I feel like I could have won more and done better at like most races. So just positive to take away from it.
And that that's fantastic. Just back to the race real quick, while I forget. That wheel-to-wheel racing you're doing with Copy was quite interesting, to say the least. Like, there was a lot of wheel banging. Copy didn't want to give up the position. You wanted the position bad. Of course, that's what you wanted to see. You're both fighting for a championship. Obviously, you're in a better position. Describe what happened with that on those few laps that you guys were.
Go around the outside in turn 1. I get alongside, but then he just turns in, gives me a penalty on the turn 2 apex. Then basically hooked on each other's side pods up until turn 4. Then he slightly moves under braking into turn 4. Then leaves absolutely no room on the exit of turn 4. I sit behind for turn 6 up to turn 7, and then I just get caught out by his braking. And then
he went spinning, and you lost the front wing essentially.
Yep. And then turn 8, and then into turn 9 or 10, the right-hander, I make a move because he was still going slow. I get ahead. Something happens with like my rear left and his front right. We start hitting each other. I get put out wide for the long left, and then the 2 Red Bulls come through. I get hit by one of the Red Bulls, pushed off track again. Then I'm leaving room on the inside, and then it's just a wheel-to-wheel contact on the F1 game, and he goes around.
Yeah, it was good. It was good battling.
I think he got helped around by the McLaren Wazuk, I think, as well. So he'll probably try.
It's what you expect. I mean, you're both battling it out for a drivers' championship. There's going to be elbows out. There's going to be wheel-to-wheel action. So obviously, one for the stewards, or if the stewards has said, enough is enough, we're done for the season. But I think it was very entertaining. Obviously, you'd wrapped up the championship. I mean, he'd had to get past you, and he had really had to beat somebody today, which I think would have been tall order. A late safety car perhaps would have put that into play. Well, actually, I think you guys are very lucky you're not in the 2021 game, because those side end plates would have been severely damaged, I think, from both of you guys.
Yeah, I think basically last if it was the next game. So very lucky in that regard.
Absolutely fantastic. You sound British, but you're driving under an American flag, North American flag.
No, I'm driving under a British flag.
British should have been British.
Oh, you are on a British flag. My apologies. I saw the wrong thing. Yeah, totally. So yeah, bringing it home to England. Let's say England, come on. It's coming out. It's coming home, right? Well, it has come home, my friend.
It has.
It's in your hands. Obviously, the constructors is going back to Italy for the Ferrari team, but the drivers is going into your shiny or your trophy cabinet.
Yes, it is. My home.
Fantastic. Well, you'd like to say anything to? If Les Vito has any questions for you, if you want to say anything to your fans out there that are listening for your championship season wrapped up.
Thank you for the support throughout the season. We'll be back next season, maybe.
Are you going to be back to defend this trophy? You know, it's going to be you'll get to keep it in your cabinet for another season, but you might have to either keep it there again or hand it over to somebody else.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the new game brings. Yeah, we'll have to see. But I'd like to maybe.
Hopefully, we'll see you back next season, and hope to see you defending your championship title. And thank you for the good race to commentate, and thank you for coming to the interviews.
No worries.
Congratulations on your drivers and constructors championship. That was Danny _Co. Yep.
Thank you.
The new champion here for Tier 1, Season 9. Well done. Get back to your team and celebrate, my friend.
I will, thank you.
All right,
Bye.
have a good one, Daniel.
Bye.
And one more thing I have to say is Justin said that the P3 was dedicated to his dad, of course, because it's Father's Day today.
Oh, fantastic.
So
That's lovely.
his P3 has been dedicated to his father. As he says yes in chat now. You love to see it.
Good on you, Justin. And good on dedicated to all the fathers out there on Father's Day. Enjoy this moment for all your little brats of children out there that you love and hate, no doubt. But yeah, and your dad, just like being a mom, it's a lot of work. I'm not a father, but I feel for all those fathers out there, and enjoy this day.
Yes, so I think we will end it here with the rest of the season being closed, and I think the next season will start not too long after the next game comes out. I feel like 3-4 weeks maybe, just so give the drivers a little bit of time, get used to.
Well,
the game.
Vito, how can they obviously sign up there? The links and so forth are in the YouTube, and they can just slap the Discord link there. Is there sign ups and stuff like that they can do?
Yes, of course. They can join the Discord in the description of the channel. And I think that the signups will be opening quite soon. I think they will open once the new game is actually released. That's the word I was looking for. So once the game is going to be released, I think that's about the time when the signups are going to be opened. Maybe a little bit after that. But for now, they can just join the Discord and hopefully drive for us next season in one of the 3 tiers that we'll be offering. Or in there is interested in our Assetto Corsa Competizione League, which is of course the supreme game, as most of us know. They can join that as well, as the new season will be starting, I believe, in about 2 weeks. So if any one of them is interested in that, they can also join the Discord and drive for us in the Assetto Corsa Competizione League. But
There you have it.
I think this is it for today. So, Biggles, thank you for commentating for us today, and hope to see everyone back on the next stream, hopefully soon.
Thank you very much for the luxury of coming up the commentary box with your brilliant job there, Vito. And obviously a huge shout out and thank you to everybody that's a part of the Racing League, the behind the scenes, all the stewarding, all the graphics team, the production, all the work that goes on behind the scenes. So shout out to those guys too, because they put the effort in. You don't have such a fantastic Racing League without a fantastic team. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm just gonna end the stream in a second and hope to see everyone back next time.